Yep. Hey everybody, I think some of you may have gone into that room and I'm not sure what happened. I stepped away for a minute and I came back and the video had stopped. So we're going to let everybody hopefully get into this room. Let's see what's going on here. See if I can go to, oh, I can't leave my page, okay. Well, I see we got one person made it in, so we're gonna wait a couple minutes here. Something went wrong with the original video that it just all of a sudden stopped. So hopefully we'll make it through the night without any more issues with that. But we're gonna be working on painting eyes tonight. While everybody comes in, I'm gonna be working on a laminated chart, and I will be showing all of the steps on there of doing eyes. One of the things that drives me crazy is when I see artwork being done and when I had my stores and people would spend all this time creating these pieces and they do a really nice job painting it, and then they would do the eyes and the piece was like it was just kind of crazy eyes on there. And I'm not picking on anybody. In some of the little drawings that I did of eyes promoting this, it wasn't meant to pick on anybody, because eyes aren't an easy thing to do. But if you know some of the basic steps and the brushes and the consistency of color and how to hold the brush, which are all things that I'm going to show you tonight, it'll make it a lot easier for doing eyes. I've taught a workshop probably hundreds of times over the years when I had the stores, and even after now when I'm on the road teaching this workshop. And it's not something that everybody gets immediately, but if you practice some of the things that I show you, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to have success with painting the eyes. So looks like we got a good group in here, and I'm going to flip the camera down and I'll talk about what we're going to be using tonight. As I mentioned, I'm going to be working on, I've got this laminated chart, and I designed this years and years and years ago, and it shows some of the basic eyes on here, and it kind of shows the different steps, and it's laminated, so I'm going to practice right on here, and then I can wipe it off, and I'm going to ask Janine to go grab me some paper towel because I forgot to do that. And I'm going to show you some things on paper as well, and all different steps for doing different eyes, and kind of, like I said, the basics and things. So the brush that you use is really important as well. But before I get into that too much, I see people are putting comments in there for the mystery box, which is great. We do have a mystery box tonight, and the mystery box tonight, I can tell you, has to do with brushes, because we're going to be using brushes tonight. So that is what the mystery box will be. So if you are interested in a mystery box, you can put in the words mystery box, and my wife Janine is here. She's going to make little slips for everybody who says they're interested. And the way it works is she'll put these slips in a bowl. We'll draw out a name later on during this live, and whoever has their name drawn has the opportunity to purchase that box. It's $35. The value of the box tonight is about $130 retail, and it's going to cost you $35 and then $15 for shipping. It ships in a flat rate a flat rate box. So if you're interested, just put in the mystery box and put your name on. Now, if I draw your name and we open the mystery box and you decide it's not something that you want, there's always plenty of other names in there that we can just draw another name in there. So, but you need to be here to be able to win that mystery box toward the end of the live tonight. So let's talk about brushes. A lot of people make the mistake when they want to paint eyes. They go with a brush, and I kind of joke that we charge $1 a bristle because there's about 3 bristles in a brush like this. And these brushes are great for detail painting, but they're not really good for doing eyelashes and for doing eyes, because they run out of color really quickly. And so what ends up happening is people dip into color, and then they have to brush it out, they have to dip into the color, and when they try to match up the line, they get so far it runs out of color. Then they have to dip back into the color, and they have to reload the brush and try to match up that line, and they usually get kind of a thick spot there. So Something else I forgot was a ceramic tile. Can you go in the back room and get me just a glazed tile? I'm sitting here thinking, I don't have a palette out here to put the paint on. So anyway, these little detail brushes aren't the greatest for doing eye painting because they don't hold a lot of color. The brush that I like to work with is this Moderna brush, and it is a 10-aught liner. And so it's got a longer bristle, so it holds a more color. I'm going to put a piece of white paper down here. Thank you.
I don't get paid enough for this.
She doesn't get paid enough for this. I'll have to tip her later. So this has a longer bristle on it, so it holds more color. So when I do lines, I'm not running out of color constantly. Now there are longer liner brushes, and there are script liner brushes. And script liner brushes, generally, I'm going to wet this one and get it to a nice point. Script liner brushes, got a question or a comment? Oh, okay. They're usually a thicker brush with more of a belly, and most people have a really hard time when they first start using a longer liner brush or a real thick, full-bellied script liner brush. So this one I find most people are comfortable with. These work great too. If you're comfortable using a longer liner, go with a longer liner because they're going to hold more color. But try to avoid these little bitty detail brushes. Again, they're for detail break. I'm going to work tonight just using some of the Makos Softy acrylic colors. So I'm going to squeeze some of that out on this tile that Janine went and got me. And most of the time, the color right out of the bottle is a little bit too thick. And so I usually will thin that color down. And I'm just going to show you without thinning it down what can happen. If I load this brush with color and I start doing some lines with this, eventually this brush kind of runs out of color. And you can see here that it kind of starts skipping across the paper and I get a real jagged line. So I will usually thin that a little bit with water, and I'll usually kind of pull a little puddle out so that I've got a nice thin consistency, but I don't want it so thin that it's going to be like watercolor and be really translucent. And part of the process of learning to use this brush is doing some simple exercises. And so I always tell people to start out doing just some straight lines first. And the way that I'm holding the brush, I've kind of got my pinky out, not because I'm drinking tea, but that pinky kind of balances on the paper. And as I go along, my pinky is kind of at the same position as the tip of that brush. So as I drag it across the paper to do my straight line, my pinky is gliding, oops, trying to look at the camera. My pinky glides along as I go with the brush. A lot of people make the mistake of they put their entire hand down on the surface that they're working on. So if my surface is like this and I put my hand down and I try going with that brush, I've got to slide my whole hand across, which on a surface like paper and a flat surface is fine. But when I'm working on some type of a figurine or a smaller thing, if I'm painting on this piece, if I just balance my pinky, look at the movement that I have with my pinky staying in that place. If I move around like this, my pinky can easily slide. If my whole hand is on there, it's a little clunkier and more difficult. So it's a little awkward to get used to holding that brush and holding your pinky out so that you're pivoting and working just on your pinky on that surface. So I've thinned the color down, I've got my pinky out, and I practice doing straight lines first. And look at how many lines I can do with this brush loaded, and it doesn't run out of color. If I hadn't thinned that color a little bit, I probably would have gotten 1 or 2 lines, and then the brush would have started skipping across the surface. Now, if I look at those lines and they're really, really translucent and really watered down, then I've added too much water to that as well, at that point too. So move my tile over to the other
There
side
was a
here.
question of whether you'll be selling this chart in info as a kit.
Oh, absolutely. So there will be some commercial breaks tonight that will be showing and telling about items that you can purchase. I've done these kits for years, and I've got a really good deal for you guys tonight. I know some people have already ordered the kit. They found it on the website. I think we got it up there yesterday or the day before. But I've got an even better deal for you. And for those who've pre-ordered, they're going to get in on that deal as well.
And then someone was asking what the mystery box was. They must be maybe
So,
came in a little
yeah,
late.
he came in a little late. So the mystery box is a medium flat rate shipping box, and it is full of something that has to do with painting tonight, probably brushes. And so the retail value of that mystery box tonight is about $130. And if you put your name in for the mystery box, Janine will put your name on a slip of paper. It'll go in a bowl, and then later on we will draw out for the mystery box. And whoever's name is drawn has the option to purchase that box for $35 plus $15 for shipping. So it's $50 for about $130 worth of what's probably going to be brushes in that box. But if that person doesn't like what they see in there, we can pass it on to the next person and draw another name out of the box. So if you're interested in that, just put a mystery box, and Janine will put your name in the bowl. All right, so I practice doing straight lines and get comfortable with that. Again, sliding your pinky across that surface. Once you're used to doing some straight lines, then I encourage them, again, my pinky is gliding across the paper, doing S strokes. Just practice doing wavy lines. And this is all to just get yourself comfortable with holding this brush and using this brush. All right? If you find yourself with your hand down and you can't slide across, or you can't pivot like this, like I can on my pinky, and it is really awkward, you guys, at first to do that. When I teach this workshop, I joke with people that I'm going to duct tape their finger out like that, so that, because you naturally want to pull that in and put your hand down. But the idea behind this, and I'm kind of holding my brush at an angle so you guys can see it better with the camera, but generally I try to keep that brush straight up and down, so I'm using just the tip. Because what can happen once you start going on to the side like this with the brush, you will end up doing a line, and as that brush goes on its side, look what happens. You start getting really thick lines. So the more you can hold that brush straight up and down, the better.
I asked Jan what worked last week, going back out and then going in again, and she said, or you could turn up the sound. I don't know if that was maybe what she found to be.
The volume, that could be. I was actually in a conference all day today, and there were several hundred people in the conference during this meeting, and half of the people forgot to turn their sound off, and somebody was talking on the phone, not even paying attention, and she was laughing and telling stories about somebody, bless you, who thought they had COVID, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, everybody could hear her, but she wasn't looking at her screen or listening to realize all several hundred people in there could hear her.
What was the name of the brush again?
So this is the Moderna. It's the 10-aught liner. It's a script liner, and it's a short liner versus a long liner. So practice doing straight lines, practice doing wavy lines. If you go too much on the side, this is where you start to lose control of that brush, because when those bristles go on the side, you get real thick lines. Once you feel comfortable doing your wavy lines, then practice doing a circle. And so a circle combines pulling the brush toward yourself and then pushing away. Generally, using a liner, if you can pull the brush toward yourself versus pushing away, you're going to have better control pulling toward yourself. So as we do eyes tonight, I'm going to be taking and turning the piece as I do the lashes on the opposite side, so that I can always be pulling the brush toward myself as much as possible. But if you can do circles, and don't be surprised, start out like this and they don't meet up perfectly, don't expect to get perfect circles right off the bat. But once you get that, and you can get those lines to kind of match up and get a nice circle, That's about learning to control this brush and use this brush. So straight lines, wavy lines, and then practice circles. Anytime you can pull the brush toward yourself is better than pushing away. You will have better control pulling toward yourself. All right. So this is normally when I do a workshop, I have people doing this for probably 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the size of the class and how well people do with that in the class. And I usually just kind of walk around. For those of you who are studio owners who are maybe watching this, this is a class that you can teach. And I'm just kind of walking you through how I do it. So I give everybody blank paper, and I have them do their practicing on the paper, lines, wavy lines, circles. And then once somebody, there's always that person in the class who's like, 5 seconds into it, they're like, oh yeah, I can do circles. And I'm like, okay, now do a full page of those circles so they all match for me. And that just kind of, shuts them up because they think, oh, I got one perfect circle. And I don't want to have everybody else in the class feel like they're falling behind. So I kind of challenge that person to do, a whole page of circles. And most people can't do a whole page of perfect circles, but it keeps them busy while everybody else is practicing. So once, everybody's kind of comfortable using that brush and they're doing their lines and their wavy lines and their circles, then we go to working on the chart. And the chart, as I mentioned, for those of you who were in here or weren't in here, the chart is laminated, and it kind of shows some of the most common eyes that you'll find on ceramic mold pieces. And they're all really, the steps are very similar. It's just the shape of the eye that's different and a little bit different steps that we do in those. But once you can do this eye, you're going to be able to do any of these eyes. You're going to be able to do closed eyes. You'll be able to do open eyes. And so I will have people start on here, and I'm going to flip this around because and we're going to start with the blue eye. Actually, I'm going to turn it back for you guys. This will be easier, and I'll be able to, and this is where I'm pulling toward myself, and so I'm sitting back here, and I want to, as I do this, I want to be able to pull the brush toward myself. So I'm actually going to start out with it turned this way. Right now, we're not worried about the color in the middle. We just want to practice doing the lines and the lashes. And a lot of times I see people will do eyes, and your eye shape is kind of an almond shape. And so I'll see people will go and they will do this line across the top, and then they'll paint lashes on, and their lashes come straight out like this. And I kind of joke, and I'm like, it kind of looks like trees growing out of the eye. Your lashes, if you stand and you look in the mirror, and I encourage people to do that too, when you stand and look in the mirror, your lashes have kind of a wave to them. And so they don't come out perfectly straight like trees. They've got a curve to them. And you can see the difference between these where the lines come straight out and these where the lines have more of a curve to them. So when we start practicing on the chart, I have them start with this top eye. I already got some paint on here. I don't even know how I did that. Oh, I guess that other side of the page had some wet paint on it yet. So you always want to start on the inside corner of the eye. So if I'm doing this eye here, I'm going to start on this corner, and again I'm balancing my pinky and I'm going across the top of the eye, and my first lash is actually going to be the last lash on this side. And this is where people make the mistake of, they're like, okay, I want a lash here, and I want a lash here, and I want a lash here and here and here, and that's where they get those straight lines coming out and they don't have the curve to them. Nice thing with this chart is you just wipe it off and you do it again. So that first line always starts across the top, and then I kind of lift and I bring that brush around to get that first lash.
Someone asked you what brush you're using.
Oh, it's the Moderna. It's the 10-aught liner, and I will have these on special, and I'll talk more about these in a little bit. So once I've got that first line on, and I just showed how people will add their lashes on there, and they end up being sticks, I encourage people to retrace this line. You don't have to retrace the whole thing, But if you do that and you continue with your lashes from that last lash on the outside edge and work your way across this way with your lashes. So don't make your lash there and then make a lash in the first part, because then you have to try and space these out so that they end up not having a real big space, or you get, I got to try and squeeze one in there. So always start with that last lash and then retrace this a little bit, add another lash and retrace, and do your lashes working from the outside to the inside of the eye. Now at this point, because I'm not pulling totally toward myself, I turn this a little bit. And if you're working on a piece, you're going to turn the piece. And that's where balancing with your pinky is going to make it a lot easier when you're working on a piece like this. If I were to paint an eye on here, because everybody wants to paint eyes on their bottles of paint, I'm going to work my way around like this. But as I come around, I want to turn this, if this was my piece, so that I'm always pulling the brush toward myself. I'm not pushing away. So I'm turning this, and again, I'm kind of retracing this, and I'm just adding my lashes, and they'll get a little bit shorter as I get to the front part of the eye. When I go to do the other side, I'm going to turn this so that, again, I'm pulling the brush toward myself. I'll go across the top of this eye, lift, retrace, lift, retrace, lift, and I'll work my way around, and you'll see that I'm turning this as I make my way to the beginning. And so I've got my first lashes on there. And so the chart kind of shows like the first thing you do is that line across the top and lift. Then you retrace and you add your lashes going from the outside, working your way to the inside. And then things like eyebrows. Eyebrows we'll talk about. They can make a big difference in how happy or angry a piece looks. Sometimes people do a really good job on the eyes, and then they put these really straight eyebrows on there, and it looks like their piece is really angry. And there are some pieces that you want to look angry or surprised, and so we'll talk about eyebrows in a little bit here. But that is the first thing that you want to do, and this is probably the part that they spend the most time in the class on, is just doing this, wiping it off, redoing it, wiping it off, and redoing it. And sometimes people will get a little frustrated because they don't get it right away. They don't get perfect eyelashes. But I will usually, at the beginning of the class on their piece of paper, I will tell them before I show them anything, paint a pair of eyes on there. And you'd be surprised how many of them look like this, and then they have, their pupil in their eye is like this. And then at the end of the class, I have them take that same piece of paper and I have them paint a set of eyes next to it so that they can see what they learned and feel a little bit better. A lot of times people get really frustrated with it. I had one lady one time that told me I was Satan, and she threw her brush down. She was so frustrated with it. And I'm like, okay, take a break. I'm like, it's not going to do her any good when she's so angry about it. And she was like the sweetest little old lady that had taken classes from me for years. And she just got really mad and told me I was Satan for trying to make her do eyes. So doing lashes, that's how you do it on this eye. Now this eye here, I call this like the Clay Magic eye. A lot of Clay Magic's pieces have eyes like this. And it's really the same concept, but if you look at the chart, your first line goes down the side and you lift, and then you add lashes going up, and then you come down the inside again. So that eye, I'm going to turn the chart again, so I'm pulling toward myself. And I'm going to show you guys what I just saw in here. I'm going to try to get this to do it now. I probably won't be able to. Put a piece of white paper here. Notice that big ball of paint on the tip of the brush, and that's what, as I went to start brushing on there, I noticed that big ball of paint, and I just went over to my tile and I just kind of dabbed some of that paint out of there. You don't want to see that on the brush. You want it to be nice, coming to a point without a ball of paint sitting on there. But you want to load the bristles. The other thing that I find people do with this liner brush, or any liner brush, is they get a little bit of paint on the tip of the brush. The point of this is the bristles are longer, so you can do longer continuous lines without having to reload the brushes often. So load those bristles up, but you don't want so much paint that there's a big blob of it that's going to drip off when you go on your piece. So on this eye, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to come down the outside, and I'm going to lift where I want that first lash. I'm going to retrace, and I'm going to work my lashes coming from the bottom, going up to the top. Now, what's different with this eye is then we're going to actually come down this other side, and we're going to bring a line down, and we're going to go past just where the color in the eye is, and we're going to lift on that brush so it comes to a nice point. Then I'm going to flip this around, and to get my top lash, I'm going to retrace a little bit of this, and I'm going to go up to the top and bring up that top lash, and then I'm going to retrace and bring my lashes on the inside, and they'll get a little bit shorter as I go down. The most common mistake that people make with this type eye, and I'm actually going to paint one of them like that right below here, I'm going to go over this one, is they will paint their lashes this way, and then they'll go down this side. They'll get that first line, and they're doing fine at that point. And then they make the mistake of retracing, and instead of going up to put the lashes on the inside of the eye, they do the same thing they did on the outside, and they start coming down, and they create what I call the Christmas tree effect on their eye. And so the lashes are coming out the same as they did on the outside. Instead of those lashes coming up, they have them all going down. And then they'll go and they'll add a couple of them kind of up at the top here, and then it just kind of starts to look like a creepy bug when they do that. So that, like I said, if you can do this eye, you can do any of these eyes. It's just a little bit different process on some of these. So I'm going to do that one here again. So I start on the outside, come down, lift, retrace, lift, retrace, lift, retrace, lift. Then I'm going to come down the inside. And the line, when I come down to the inside, goes to the inside of the eye, and I lift so that I get a nice point at the bottom. And I usually go just past the color in the eye. Then I'm going to retrace. And again, I'm flipping this around, so I'm always pulling the brush toward myself. And some of you are like, oh my God, Mike, you've said that 100 times now. But you'd be surprised how many times in workshops I have to remind people, pull the brush, don't push the brush, because you have a lot better control. Do that top lash, and then continue to trace, and your lashes just get a little bit shorter as you make your way down on the inside. The other side, same concept. Going to do the outside first. Do the inside. And then retrace upward so that those inside lashes. And a lot of times people, they try to make sure that they have the exact same number of eyelashes on each eye. If you can count your lashes on yourself, you're probably going to find that you have a different number of eyelashes on each side. Now, if you have 30 on one side and you have 5 on the other, it's going to look kind of odd. But if you're off by 1 or 2, don't worry about that. Don't sit there and worry about counting the lashes to make sure that they're exactly the same on both eyes.
There's comments that someone like you put a face around the eyes. They don't see those eyes fitting in a face.
Put a face around the eyes?
Yeah, like how those eyes would look on a face.
I will grab a piece here in a little while and show you on a finished piece. I think I've got some Clay Magic stuff here. If you wouldn't mind, while you're, instead of putting names on for the mystery box, because this is more important than the mystery box, people. On the bottom shelf over there under all those packages, there are some of those reindeer rose or moose rose. Those are Clay Magic, and they should have that shape eye, and I'll use that as one of the pieces to paint the eyes on at the end.
She said never mind, I see the face now. Wait,
Oh.
Where? Where do you see it?
I don't know. Oh, I see who that is. Okay. Now I understand, Luann. No, but I'll paint an eye on a piece at the end to show you guys.
It's on the flat surface, I think, that have, you know.
Yeah, and this is where you practice on paper and on this chart to learn this process. This last eye is a very common eye as well, and it's more of, and I'm just going to do this on paper, it's more the shape of the eye is more like this. It's more of a kind of a cartoon type of eye. I'll turn it around there. So this is generally the top of the eye, bottom of the eye. Where the other ones we just did was kind of the teardrop type eye. And then the first one was what I call the basic kind of almond shaped eye. So this is the one that we're going to do now. Are they behind those or are they down below on the shelf?
Is it Jingle?
Oh yeah, yep, that's the one. Okay. All right. So this eye, and this one is really important that you use your pinky because you're going to be doing a long line coming around this eye. So I'm going to start on the inside of the eye, and I'm going to come all the way around the top, and when I get to the bottom here is where I lift and do that first lash. And again, I'm going to retrace some of that so that I get that natural curve, and I'm going to work my way around, going all from where that first lash was, which is the bottom lash, and I'm going to work my way around, and I'm going to turn this as I do it. And again, sometimes people are like, well, why do you have to retrace? That retracing gives you that natural curve when you lift. If you just go where you want that lash and you brush out, you're going to get a stick or a tree growing out from there. By retracing, you're kind of doing that movement and that motion. To do the other side, I'm turning the piece around. I'm actually going to turn it even a little bit more.
She was trying to see it on a human face.
Oh, on a human face.
Mm-hmm.
Should I have Janine come over here and stick her face in here and I'll paint eyes on her face? Would that be?
Is there a chart that can be downloaded or put on a computer?
This chart, I sell them laminated. I don't sell it as a download. All right, so that's basically doing the lashes on that last eye. So that's, like I said, you can do this one, you can do any of these. It's just a matter of a couple different steps on those, and the chart does outline that on there. Let's talk about closed eyes. So when you're looking at doing closed eyes, there are eyes that like something is giggling or laughing, and so usually those lashes would go up on the piece. If something is sleeping and the eyes are at rest, the eyelashes would normally go down. So again, if you can do this blue eye, you can do either of these, because all that is that same motion of doing that first line, retracing, adding your lashes. Okay, so if it's let's pretend this is a face here, okay, that's the eye, where it's, if you go stand in the mirror and kind of giggle or laugh or squint and kind of bunch your face up, your lashes are generally going to go upward. If you're resting, okay, it's that exact same thing, but watch. If I turn it upside down, I now have a closed eye, and the lashes are going down. So you can do that blue eye. It's the exact same thing as your lashes and your lines on there for doing a closed eye on a piece. But the difference is the item resting, or is it more of a laughing or a giggling? And that will determine which way the eyelashes go, either up or down. Let's talk about eyebrows. I mentioned earlier how sometimes people can give pieces a lot of expression by doing eyebrows. And so on this blue eye, you'll see kind of the wavy line of an eyebrow, and that is just kind of a natural look. And that basically is the same stroke as you do for that very first line on the eyelash. So once you've got the lashes, add an eyebrow, with just kind of a wavy line above that eye. Or if this is my eye, I can have just kind of a little bit of a wavy line. If I do, so if this is, I'm just going to paint an eye on here. And we'll pretend this is the inside. Now, if I do, turn this so that you guys are looking at it. If I do a really straight line like this, it's like an angry. And so I always tell people, go stand in front of the mirror and just do different facial expressions and watch what happens with your eyebrows. If I do a really pointed one like this, it's more of a surprised look. So stand in the mirror and do kind of a surprised look. And I'm actually going to flip the camera up here. I'll pretend that I don't have real dark eyebrows, but maybe I should have had Janine put something on those so they, but you know, just kind of do different faces in the mirror and you know, watch what happens to your eyebrow. I'm going to turn this down because that's just kind of creepy and scary.
I think we might need to have a commercial break soon because a lot of people are asking how much this costs and
okay.
And then also someone commented that you should save this video.
Yeah, and this video is being recorded. And well, the videos, so right now they're saved on Facebook, and when I have spare time, which there isn't a whole lot of right now, I've downloaded the videos, but I have to go through and do edits and things to them, and then we'll put them on the website as well. So we're going to set this aside for a minute, and we will have a commercial break.
There's a few people just want to know how much it is.
Yeah. So for those of you who are new to the lives, the way I justify this is I hope to sell some stuff as a result of the lives. And I know that everybody's in a different situation right now. Don't feel like you have to, but if you can, I really appreciate it. So the eye kit comes with the laminated eye chart, and it comes with the Moderna brush, and it also comes with a written instruction sheet, which goes through and talks about color thickness and if it's too thick, if it's just right, or if it's too thin, doing wavy lines, straight lines, circles, and it kind of goes through everything that I'm talking about tonight, and it talks about eyebrows as well. Whoops, let me get it down on the camera here, and kind of how eyebrows can make a difference on a piece as well. So that kit, if you buy just one, that's what it comes with. And it's $14.95. It's normally $19.95. But as a bonus, because this ships in a flat rate envelope, and it's about $8 to ship one of these, and so it doesn't matter how much weight is in there. So I'm going to pack these full of, I've got Fired Arts and Crafts. The last year that this was published was 2015, and it went into January of 2016. And so you will get in with that kit, you'll get a whole assortment of Fired Arts and Crafts. This actually happens to be a cover that I had. This is going to be an upcoming live event doing these flower bowls. This one we did the coil puzzling a while back, a few weeks ago. And this happens to be another one that I had the cover on. This was a fountain that I had done. We're going to do more on the garden globes coming up, so you'll get all the instructions on that. A lot of you have asked about raku. This was a cover that I did that had one of the raku techniques.
A lot of people are commenting that they want this.
Yeah.
Can you go over, like,
yep.
Because they're actually just commenting, like,
that they want
have
it. Okay.
Previous ones, like how they order.
So anyway, you'll get all of these in there too. So if you haven't the item numbers like this on the slip of paper, and people would comment that they wanted it, and then we would go through and try to get back to everybody. What we did now is we've got this on our website, which is learnfiredarts.com. And so if you go onto the website, the very first, and there's lots of places that will lead you to it, that is the live events on there. And if you go into there, you can order this. So item number 2 is the eye kit. And so that's what you'll look for, is item number 2 is the eye kit, and there's a picture of the chart and stuff. And you can order those right on the website. Now you can order one for $14.95. If you're a studio and you want these to do a workshop, 12 of them are $149.95, or you can get 24 of them for $238. And that comes, they're all pre-packaged, has everything in there. Now, if you order the studio kit, you're not going to get all of the magazines with that. The magazines just come with the individual one. I might have room to stick a few magazines in there, but you're not going to get 10 or 12 magazines with every single kit that you get. So all of the items that I show tonight, you can go to learnfiredarts.com and go into the live event specials, and each week those specials get updated. So tonight I've got several things. So item number 2 is the eye kit, and you can order those right on the website. And because tonight is kind of about brushes,
is the shipping? Is that $14.95 with shipping?
No, so on the website, that's a good question. So on my website, on $50 purchases, the shipping is free. On that particular chart, it's going to come out to about $8 for the shipping if you just order that. But if you order, and I've got tons of different stuff in there that you can order. If you order $50 worth of stuff in the U.S., it ships for free. All right. If you want just the brush, everybody's been asking what brush this is. This is the Moderna 10-aught liner, and that one is listed as item number 3 on the website. How good of a deal is that? And they're normally $3.99. If you get 12, they're $29.95. Or you get 24, they're $50. So it's like $2 a brush, half off if you're a studio and you want to buy it. And you'll be seeing that with a lot of the items on our website. I've had a lot of studios asking about, volume discounts. So a lot of items you're going to start to see that we're going to be adding if you buy multiples, that the price drops on there. And again, on this, it's free shipping in the U.S. on any $50 order of combined items. All right.
There are.
Okay.
But just maybe, so they know we're not going to be seeing those.
Yeah, so if you guys are putting in there that you want, 12 of them or something, I see, Amy, that you just put that in there. Amy, you can actually go to the website and you can order them right on the website now. And it's all set up on there with a drop down of you select how many you want and the special pricing comes up. And these specials are good for a week. Sometimes I'll leave them up there for 2 weeks, depending on the items. And sometimes I'll do, in the I will use some of the same items. And so sometimes you'll see them up there for weeks, or something we've been out of, which is something that a lot of you have been waiting for. A lot of you had ordered these. It's a clay cutter. And if you work with moist clay, which next week we're going to be doing clay fish, and I'll be using this again. But if you didn't see how these work, these are great. They are adjustable. So this bar slides to determine the thickness of the clay that you cut off of the block, and there's a handle on there, and you cut it. It's like a big cheese slicer. You can make your slabs of clay as thick or as thin as you want them to be. And so that on the website is item number 6. They are back in stock. Those of you who have had orders sitting here waiting for these to come in, we shipped out a ton of packages today. And the only thing that we're waiting for now is the hollow dies. Those still have not come in, but they should be in at any point. And I see probably about 20 orders over here that will ship once those come in as well. So this is item number 6, is a clay cutter. They're on special for $15.95.
I did attach the website again, so if
Okay.
everybody wants to just follow that link, they can.
Now, since we're talking about brushes, we just introduced 2 new sets of brushes on the website. These just went up today, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the difference between these. There's one set that's gold Taplon that has the gold bristle. These are great for like acrylics, and this is item number 9. There's 10 brushes in there. There's 5 rounds and 5 flats. They're acrylic handles, so if you leave them in water, they're not going to swell up and crack and peel like wood handles can do. They're a really good, decent quality brush, and if you get one, they're on special for $10.99. There's a 12 and a 24 option on there as well, and so those good for acrylic stains and basic painting. They'll work with glazes and underglazes, but because they're a little bit springier synthetic hair, they tend to drag the color out more, and you don't get as even of coverage with glazes. So when you're putting 3 coats on, you don't get a solid of coverage as you'll get with this set, number 8, which is a soft natural hair brush. Basically the same handle, same ferrule on the brush, just different hair. And that one, same pricing. One is $10.99, $12, $24, and that's item number 8. So glazes and underglazes, that soft natural hair works better because it lays the color on heavier. Gold Taklon is good for acrylics. And then I've got this brush set here. This one I showed in the dry brushing webinar. We're going to be adding more dry brushes, but right now we've got a round and a flat set. And these are a large stiff bristle. This is natural hair. It's hog bristle. So it's good for dry brushing. If you're doing large areas or base coating with acrylics, this brush is really good for that. And that's set number 5. It's the BK round dry brushes. They're on special for $7.50 on the website. And since we're talking brushes, I'll show you these other 2 assortments. And so we've got, similar to those blue-handled ones that I just showed that are good for stains and acrylics, this clear choice set, these are all clear acrylic handles on these brushes. There are 24 brushes in here. There's 4 different sizes of rounds. There's 3, 5, and 10 rounds, and then there's 3 flats, 4, 8, and 12 come in this assortment. There's 4 of each of them, and those, one is $29.95, 12, and 24, and that's item number 10. And the GT is for Gold Taklon, good for acrylics. Then we also have the ceramic combo assortment, and this one, as I tipped it, I kind of messed up the brushes in here. So this one comes with soft goat fan brushes, great for glazing. Comes with a 3/4 inch wash brush, or this might actually, yeah, it is a 3/4. Comes with some flats and some rounds. Smaller detail size brushes, a little bit bigger round, and then a flat brush that comes in that assortment. So 3 different size rounds, there's 4 of each, fans, wash, and a flat that comes in there. And that's item number 11. Those are good for glazes and underglazes, again, because they are a soft natural hair. So you'll find those on the website as well. And those are all in stock. We've got all of those in stock now.
Someone's asking if your classes are for glazes, or do you also do dry brush classes? If you have accounting of shopping or near her for accounting.
Yep, so I do things in non-fired finishes too. We did one of the first lives that I did. We did do dry brushing on trees, and I will be doing some more. We're going to be adding Duncan non-fired colors to our line as well in February, and so we'll be doing more with non-fired colors and things in February.
Do you carry the Makos soft fans if that's what I need for glazing?
I don't carry the Makos soft fans, but there is, Lisa, on my website, there is a synthetic fan. And the thing that I like about the synthetic fans, which I'm going to show you in this lovely set here, is the synthetics don't shed like the natural goat hair. And Makos brushes are great. I'm not knocking their brushes at all. But their brushes are a natural goat hair, which this assortment here, I'm going to pull out one of these fans. This is a natural goat hair that comes in that inexpensive assortment. And so this hair, it does tend to shed, and the hair wears down quicker. It's a great glaze brush, but this will wear down quicker than the synthetic. And if you were here and you were able to touch these, you really would have a hard time. If I look away from them, it's hard to tell which one I'm actually touching, but that synthetic filament is much more durable, and it doesn't shed, it doesn't break away as easily as that natural hair. So Makos brushes, their fan is similar to this. It's a natural goat hair. This assortment, and I sell all these brushes individually on my website, and that fan comes in a 6, 8, 10, and a 12. And this is an assortment of, this one is all glaze type brushes. You've got mops, you've got flats, you've got daggers, you've got a whole bunch of rounds, you've got these fans. There's also a stiff bristled fan. So this looks similar to the synthetic, looks similar to this natural goat hair, but it's a stiffer. This is hog bristle. This is good for speckling, splattering, getting into real textured areas. This assortment also comes with the Moderna, the liner brush that we're using. In this assortment, and then it comes in this nice little zip-up pouch. There's a handle on here that comes out, a carry handle, and this zips closed so that your brushes are all protected in this case. And this one on the website is item number 4. It's the brush kit. This one is $109 retail. we're running a special for $69, comes with all those brushes and that case. We will also be selling these cases eventually individually or by themselves on the website. I've had people asking about that. All right, so let's get back to eyes. So eyebrows, again, you're going to start at the inside just like you do that line going across and do your eyebrows going out. So it's a very similar stroke. Curved lines will give you more of a pleasant look. Really curved up lines will give you more of a surprised look. So go look in the mirror, do different facial expressions to see what happens. Closed eyes we talked about. Let's talk about the color on the inside of your eyes. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper here. And so when I go to do my eyes, and I'm going to draw a set of these eyes on here.
Someone would like you to do a class on brushes and describe all the uses. And Jessica is loving your workshop and is actually doing some eyes on her piece right now.
Oh, that's good. All right, cool. So a common mistake that people make is they look at the shape of the eye and they make the iris and the pupil in the eye the same shape. So most common eyes that you're going to find on pieces are going to be what I call the almond shaped eye, which if you look at your eye, your eyeball is round, but the opening of your eye is kind of an almond shape. So a lot of people make a mistake of when they go to add their color for the iris in their eye, they will follow that shape like this and fill it in, and they'll do an almond shape inside that. Do you have was there another question or comment?
Is the Moderna dagger the one you used for banding?
Yes, the Moderna dagger is the one that I use for banding. This isn't a dagger, though. This is a liner. I just want to make sure that... Oh, it's Drew's asking about that. Yeah, so the Moderna dagger, and there's also the Menta daggers, and the difference is the Moderna is a gold Taklon bristle, so it's got more spring to it, where the Menta is a softer synthetic sable, which is more like a natural hair that will... Huh? Oh, yeah, our dogs are barking upstairs. So a lot of times people will follow the shape of the eye to make that in there. And so you got to remember the eyeball itself is round. So your iris is going to be, or your pupil is going to be round. And so I usually start out doing that circle, and then I paint in, and the background of the eye is I usually paint with white, or I use an off-white in the background of the eye. Then I will paint in my color. And, you know, sometimes people will do just a little ring of color on there. I usually paint in that whole area with color because I don't want a ridge where the black overlaps it. So I'll color in the whole thing. Now, if you've got eyes that are looking in a different direction, if you want the piece looking to one side or the other, your color in your eye may go to that side, but it is still going to be round. If they're looking way off to the side, it may go all the way in and fill in this whole area over here. But your eyes are going to follow one another. So a lot of times people will make, and I'm just going to draw this on here, and I see this a lot, that they will make their round part like this. Well, that piece is cross-eyed. Or they will make it like this, which I don't even know if it's possible to get your eyes to both go looking outward in opposite directions. Usually if you look to the right or you look to the left, your other eye is going to follow. And there probably are exceptions out there that there are people that don't have that. So you're going to do your color in there, and remember to do it in a circular motion. Now on a teardrop eye, your color is probably going to go all the way to the top, but it is still going to be rounded. So
egg-shaped or oval eyes? Those are similar, I'm guessing.
yeah, so your egg-shaped eye is going to be, it doesn't really matter what shape the eye is. Your iris and your pupil and your eyeball is round. And so you're going to make sure that this color in there is round. And so on the bottom of like this teardrop eye, it's nice and rounded. Yes, it goes up to the top with the color, but we're going to be coming back with black and covering most of this. So we're going to take and paint this in. And I don't usually thin this color down. Now, some people will get real fancy with this, and they'll do like a lighter blue. If they're doing a blue eye, they'll do a lighter blue in there, and then they'll take a shader and corner load it and shade darker. I'm not getting all fancy with that this evening. I just want to show you kind of the basics on this. And then I would normally let that dry, and then I will go back, and I'm thinning my black down here again on my tile, loading the brush, and I'm going to start with this eye here. And here's another thing with balancing with my pinky. If I put my hand down on the side here, this eye is still wet. There's a good chance that the side of my hand is going to be blue. So if I just use my pinky, I can pivot, and I'm going to go and I'm going to start out with the line across the top, and I will turn this a little bit as I retrace, and I will add my lashes. All right, and then making sure that the color that I've put in there is dry, I'm going to go and I'm going to add the pupil in the eye. Now, if you look at a human eye, you're just going to have kind of a little circle of black in the middle. And eyes kind of look a little creepy on ceramic pieces when you do that. And so generally, most eyes you will see that they paint a circle. And this one is just kind of an eye that's looking straight forward. So it's going to touch the top of the eye, and it's going to leave color all around, but on the top. So the black touches the top. And again, this is round. This is not almond shaped. Okay? So your color. And so this is where I said before, some people will just do a ring of blue for their eye, and then they'll go with a black that'll overlap the blue a little bit. I just color the whole thing in blue because I don't want to have a ridge or an overlap mark where that happens to overlap whatever color I've got in the eye. Now my teardrop eyes, again, I'm going to start on the outside. I'm going to come down, do my first lash, work my way up as I retrace. And then I'm going to turn this around because I want to be pulling toward myself. I'm going to come down from the top and go to the inside. Retrace going up to do that top lash. And then I will continue to work my way down the inside. The black on this eye, my blue is still a little wet here, but I'm going to try to go over it and not get that all over in there. I'm going to fill this in. And again, it's going to be rounded, leaving that blue color around the bottom. All right, the other eye, this one I'm going to put an X through because that's how not to do that.
Other than practicing, is there a trick to get both eyes to look the same or close to identical?
And that's really, it is a matter of practicing. And I've, when I had the stores, I had people in classes that they always wanted me to do their eyes because, I don't want to ruin the piece. And I get it, but you're never going to learn if you don't practice. And, and then people get to doing it on the paper and on the chart, and they're like, I can do this. They get it. But then they go to do it on their first piece, and they're scared to death to do it on that piece because they're afraid they're going to mess it up. And I always tell people, and I mentioned this earlier, don't worry about counting the lashes. That's the biggest thing that people do is they want to make sure, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh, I've got to get another one in there. And on this one, I actually do have room to add another lash in there. But then they start going like, oh gosh, I got to get another lash in here. And they start getting them so close together that then they have to add another one down here, and they got to add, and then to even it out. And, you know, some people do like, when Donna's Molds was around and she had a lot of her dolls and things, she had, I kind of call them the Tammy Faye eyes. I might be dating myself now. But she had so many lashes in there. And so if you want to have those really wispy lashes, you can go back and do lots of little wispy line lashes in here to fill them in. And you can see how I can add lots and lots of lashes in here if you want those really bushy lashes. Sometimes people want lashes on the bottom, and it's fine to put some lashes on the bottom, but what you don't want to necessarily do is a lot of people will completely outline the eye. And on a ceramic piece, you've got an indentation where that eye is, and so you don't have to outline that. People can see where the bottom of the eye is. The white ends here, and the flesh color starts beyond there, so you don't have to do a solid line across the bottom. But if you want to add some lashes on the bottom, you can do that, and just by going and doing a line going across here, and again, the lashes on the and be a little bit lighter. So you can add lashes at the bottom, but I don't have to completely outline this eye with this black line, because then it starts looking like there's major mascara going on there, and which, you know, right now kind of those smoky eyes, I guess it is a little darker, so you probably could.
Real quick, well, first of all, someone said you make it look so easy, but yeah, you've been doing this for like 100 years, right? So.
Yeah, not quite 100, but yeah, for.
And then Lisa wants to know if you're going to be showing where to place the highlight based on the eye position.
Yep, and that's what I'm doing these eyes so that I can do the highlights in there to show you guys, because that is another area where people make a big mistake when they add the highlights. And a lot of people will take and do, they'll use the end of the brush and they'll dip it in white paint and put a big white dot in the middle, and that I see that's very common. And again, I'm not picking on anybody who does that, but I'm going to show you how to do a couple different types of highlights in the eyes. And the highlights too can make your piece cross-eyed, or it can make it look like a deer in headlights. And so I want this to dry a little bit. This eye here is just about dry, so I'm going to take a little bit of my white, and so the biggest mistake, like I said, I'm just going to paint this one here with some black in here and show you what not to do. Sometimes showing people what not to do is almost better than showing them what to do. So a lot of times, like I said, people will take the end of the brush, they'll dip in the white paint, and they put this big white dot in the middle. And it looks like a deer in headlights when you got this giant white dot in the middle. And once you get to the point of doing the highlight, I don't want to say you can't goof it up, but if you get too much white in there, let it dry, go back over it with the black, and add the highlight again. The most common highlight is, and I will thin the white down a little bit to do the highlights because I don't want a really big glob of color on there, is you want to generally go off center. So you don't want that dot to be right in the middle of the eye, because again, if you look in the mirror and you move your head around and move your eyes around and you look at different light reflections on there, the reflection, usually there will be a dot off to one side, and then on the other side, little comma strokes. I'm going to turn this around for you guys. And this is probably the most common highlight. Again, if I get too much on there, I can let that white dry, go back, and go over part of that white. If I get it, if that line is too thick, if it's too long, I can go over that. If you do, I'm going to just show you on the chart here, people will do their highlights like this. And that will make your piece look almost cross-eyed. So the highlights should be in the same position on each eye. So if that dot is on this side, I'm going to make that dot on that side. The line is on the opposite side.
Is that your Moderna liner again?
Yep.
Still?
I've been using this brush to do all of it. Yep.
Okay. Someone asked, but they maybe didn't hear at the beginning.
Yep. So, so that's the most common highlight is like a dot and then a little line off to the side like this. And it'll be the same in each eye. So the dot is on the same side. You don't want the dots both on the inside and the lines on the outside because it'll make the piece look kind of cross-eyed. All right. Now, if you want to do the star highlight, and I'm going to do this instead of doing it on the eye right now, I'm actually going to show this on the paper with the black, and I'm going to kind of exaggerate it, make it really big on here. So if this is my teardrop eye, and I want to do the star highlight, again, I'm not going to do this right in the middle of the eye. I'm going to go off to the side, and I'm going to make, and I'm going to thin the white down. I'm using black to show you so it shows up better. I'm going to make kind of a longer line, and I'm going to make kind of a shorter line. So it's kind of like I'm making a cross. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to cross and put an X through that to get that star type highlight. And then on the opposite side of the eye, I'm going to have that little curved line. And on the laminated chart, I show that on the brown eye. It might be kind of hard to see in the camera, but that one was on this eye, and it was painted in. I'm going to do my little cross, and then exit, and then a little curved line on the other side. Same on the other eye. Cross, exit, and a little line on the opposite side to get those star highlights. And I show that kind of down here of the line, the cross, and then the Xing on there. All right. So I think this one is dry enough now that I can do the little white highlight in this eye. Again, I'm going to thin the white down a little bit. I don't want it so thin that it doesn't show up, but if I use it too thick, my lines are going to be super, super thick on here. So I do my little line down, I do my cross, and I do my X. And again on this, if you get it on too heavy, you can always go back and you can cover part of that white up. It's not showing up the greatest in the camera because the black is still a little wet, so you're getting a little bit of that reflection. All right, and then I'll add my eyebrows. And so eyebrows can be just, you know, that kind of wavy line. Again, starting from the inside of each eye to get my eyebrows. If I do a really straight line like that, I get more of that angry look. If I do a really high, I have more of a surprised look. All right. So any questions?
I think
Everybody wants to know about the mystery box. Okay. Let me see if I got any other. Oh, I do have a couple other goodies here to show you guys. One of the other things that's back in stock that we were out of for a while was the banding wheel pad. This is a rubber pad that goes on top of a banding wheel that prevents pieces from slipping and sliding. We sold out of these when we first got them in. We got another shipment in. They're still on special for $19.95. This is item number 7. These are normally $24.95, and it's a nice flexible one. These will work on the Shimpo banding wheels. It's a little bit smaller than their high banding wheel, but it's a little bit bigger than the Amico banding wheel that we sell on the website. So those are back in stock. And then
is the synthetic fan you showed before to Leslie in the zipper case, is that listed as a Royal Aqualon?
Yep, that's the Aqualon fan brushes, and there's 4 different sizes with a drop-down menu on there. This is a new stamp that we added. We had hoped to have this before fall, and we just got these. This is a new stamp. We've got a couple other new stamp designs, so I'll be showing these in the future. This will be coming up on the website soon, and I think there's going to be some in the patterns on there, so watch for that. Trying to think if there's anything else with the eyes here. I think that's everything. If you guys have questions after this, let me know. I do want to talk quickly about just cleaning your brushes and caring for brushes. When this is a new brush, it comes with that plastic cap on there. Do not save that plastic cap. Throw that away. If you try to put it back on the brush, there's a good chance you're going to get bristles caught in there, and the brush is going to not hold its shape, and you're going to start trimming bristles away. And because this has about 10 hairs in it, once you start trimming them away, you lose control of the brush, and it doesn't work as well. When you wash the brush, I've got one of these brush basins here, and I've got one without water in it to show you. On the bottom, these have these little texture pads on them. With a liner brush like this, you want to be careful that you don't drag a detail brush or a liner like this across there, because so generally I just kind of swish it in the water, and a lot of times I'll kind of pull it across my hand like this to get any color that's up on the ferrule off, or I'll put a sponge in the water to gently go across. Don't bang this on the bottom. Don't drag this across that ribbing. There's other products out on the market that have little textures on them and scrubby pads and things. Those are good for things like dry brushes and bigger brushes. But liners like this, you can damage them so easily by banging them or leaving them sit in water. If I leave this sitting in here, even though this has an acrylic handle and it's okay to do that, it won't hurt the handle, that brush, a lot of times that bristle will get bent and will be permanent like that. This is a synthetic bristle, and if you pull on it, if you bang it, if you stretch those bristles, the brush will lose its shape. So make sure that you clean the brush out well. I always encourage people, I tell them, even though this is synthetic hair, it's hair. Treat it like you treat the hair on your head. Don't use things like Dawn dish soap. I know a lot of you probably are going, ooh, I use Dawn dish soap all the time. On a synthetic brush, it's not as big of a deal, but when you get into a natural hair brush, that natural hair has an oil in it, and if you use Dawn dish soap, they use that when wildlife and stuff, when there's oil spills, and it draws the oil out of the feathers and the fur and things on those animals. It's also designed to take grease away from pieces when you're washing dishes. On a natural hair brush, that Dawn dish soap will dry out that hair. It will make it more brittle. And when I talked before about that natural goat hair fan brush, that's already a brittle hair. And if you dry it out with Dawn dish soap that draws the natural oils out of the hair, those bristles are going to become much more brittle, and they're going to break off a whole lot easier. So use shampoo, use a good brush cleaner. It doesn't need to be fancy shampoo. Can you use conditioner? Absolutely. So things like the commercial brush cleaner I see Lisa asking about, yep, they're made for brushes, and it's basically a shampoo that they're using to clean the brushes. I hear people, using Dawn dish soap. I hear them using things like rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol are great for brush manufacturers because that too dries out the brushes, and they wear down a lot quicker, and they become more brittle, and you buy more brushes. So I work for a brush manufacturer. I could encourage you to use Dawn dish soap and things that will harm them because you'll buy more brushes, but your brushes will last a lot longer if you take care of them. So a good brush cleaner, shampoo, you can use conditioner on them. It's certainly not going to hurt at all to use that conditioner on the brush. And then always store them flat. If you stand them upright, you can do that, but do it after the brush is dry. Because if you don't, all of that water that's in the hair is going to go down, and it's going to work its way into the ferrule, the metal part of the brush. It's going to sit on the glue that holds that hair in the brush. It's going to wear that glue down. It'll go down, and it can sit right where the handle is attached to the brush. And in really extreme cases with brushes that hold a lot of water, like fan brushes, that water will go down into a wood handle, and it will cause that wood to swell and expand. And then when it dries, it shrinks, and the paint on the handle is stretched out, and it flakes off. How many of you have had brushes, and you can raise your hands if you want, but I can't see it, you've had brushes where the paint has flaked off the handle? And I get people all the time that come up to me at shows, and they're like, I bought these brushes, and the first time I used them, all the paint flaked off the handle. And then I asked them, I said, well, did it get left in water? Oh, no, I never leave them sitting in water. And I'm like, okay, I half believe you, but then I ask them, I say, tell me how you clean the brushes. And they go through their whole cleaning process. And then I say, okay, and then how do you store them? And 99% of the time, I put them in a cup or a Pringles can, and I store them upright. And that is bad for the brush because all that water goes down, and it can do the same thing to a wood handle as if you leave it in water. I love acrylic handle brushes. Pretty much all the brushes that I'm selling have acrylic handles because you don't have to worry about that. But if you store them flat till they're dry, you can stand them up after that. But while they're drying, lay them flat, or even better, have them laying so that the water goes away from the brush handle. Some people will actually hang them this way so the water can drip off, but laying them flat is sufficient for that. All right, any questions on brushes, brush care?
Well, someone was asking if you could have a typed sheet with brush care info. I think you have.
Actually, if you go to my website to learn Fire Arts, there is a page on there called that's free lesson plans, and on there is a PDF that you can download. There's all kinds of PDFs on there, you guys, of free techniques that are on there. There is one on there on like selecting and brush care. I can't remember the title of it. I don't have it in front of me, but that is something that you will find on the website.
Okay, and then Kathy Owen wanted to know if you were going to show pieces with painted eyes on them.
Oh yeah. So I don't think I actually need to necessarily paint this because I did it on paper here, but I wanted to show you when I joked about this eye being the Clay Magic eye. Look at a lot of your Clay Magic pieces. A lot of them have that teardrop eye. So if oops, I got my container there that doesn't have the water. Okay, I would paint in my circle of color. I think you guys all get the idea behind that. But then your lashes are going to start at the top, come down, lift, lift, lift. And then I'm going to come down from the top, make the line down. I'm going to retrace back up and make my lashes going up on the top. Do my eyebrow. And that is the brown eye on the sheet. All right. Sorry, thanks for reminding me, Kathy. I almost forgot that I said I was going to show it on a piece. But you can see the indentation is there, and that's where I say you don't have to outline the entire eye to do that. All right, we got all the mystery box people set up. I'm going to raise the camera up here a little bit.
I want to say there was one other. Oh, somebody said they use horse mane and tail shampoo.
Yeah, and that is used on a horse. You know, like I said.
Valerian right at the last second.
Yep. If you do, and you know, I always tell people, whether it's natural hair or synthetic, treat it like you treat the hair on your head. All right. So we got the bowl here with all of the names. I'm going to reach over and mixing them up here, and I'm going to pull out a name once I get them mixed up well. We've got Mo Krasinski. If you're in here, Mo, this is going to be your mystery box. It'll be $50. If you decide that you don't want it, we will draw out another name in that box.
Did you say 50? But it's 35.
It's 35 and 15 for shipping. If you're picking it up locally, it's 35. So far, I haven't had anybody local win. All right.
Oh, Mo is here.
All right, good. All right, so Mo, you got a whole set of the acrylic handle, the gold Taklon brushes. This is a set of all flats. There's 24 in here. The one I showed earlier has a combination of flats and rounds. You're getting more sizes in here. You also got a round assortment of the gold Taklon brushes. And you also got a 24-piece set of the round natural hair. So these are good for glazes, underglazes, the watercolors. And you got a set of flats. And so these are about $35 per set. So we got 70. We've actually got $140 worth of brushes in this assortment. So let me know, Mo, if this isn't something that you want. I will draw another name out. But if you do, and so what you're going to do, Mo, or anytime anybody wins anything on the mystery box, the number one on the website is the pay by dollar amount. And so basically that one is set up as the item is $1, and you go in and just type in 50 for the quantity, and then you can check out, and I'll know once I see the name go in there that it is for the mystery box. If there's ever anything, sometimes I'll run specials on one-of-a-kind things. That's how you do it. All right, so Mo said she's excited. So this is your box. So go into learnfiredarts.com, just pay the $50 on there, and then it will ask for your address, and everything will go in there. So I want to show you guys a little peek at something that's coming up. So I've been working on trying to get some new things done, and I'm not sure this is going to show up real good on the camera, and this isn't completely done, but I'm working on some Easter projects. This is an egg technique, and then I also did it. I'm going to stand up here and grab this tree. I wanted to have an Easter tree, and trees are like going like crazy. So this is one that I'm working on. I still have to do the mother of pearl on here, but this is a really cool technique where we put layers of color on and wipe it back. And this is the body of the tree there's all different spring colors on here. I still have to do the mother of pearl and do the lights on here as well. But that's going to be an upcoming Facebook Live. Next week we're going to be doing the clay fish, and then coming up probably the weeks after, I'll be working on these projects. We've got all kinds of other projects coming up in the future. I'm working on all kinds of cool samples and stuff. So I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'm just looking to see, Janine's looking to see if we missed any questions on there. If you have other questions, just message me is probably the easiest way to do that, or shoot me an email. So thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.